Hey, everybody. Welcome to, we're not even sure what's going to happen here, but it's going to be fun. We're going to try to do a lot of these, and it's the IMCA TV podcast with my bestest of besties, Ryan Clark. Hi, Ryan.
How you doing, Jerry?
I'm doing fine. It's amazing.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
It's the first
It
one.
talks.
We've
It
already been
talks.
called to the principal's office.
We've missed you two. Oh. It's been since Super Nationals.
About 5 months.
He's been drinking already, hasn't he?
It's been 5 months.
Yeah, it has.
It has, hasn't it?
September, October, November,
Where
December.
you two have actually been together. I mean, obviously we talk all the time, but
Yeah, first time we've been in the same room.
Yeah.
not like the dynamic duo you are at the Boone Speedway. Right?
Wow.
Oh, he's
I'm
complimentary
Whoa.
right out of the gate.
Hey, can you write time and date down? Time and date down right now.
And the first thing I was going to do is apologize here because normally when we do races, the cameras are not on us; they're on the cars.
Yeah, so we apologize for our looks.
No, and the fact that the cameras are on us, I want to apologize to you because everybody at home is going to be able to see me rolling my eyes every time you talk.
Oh, no, they know it in your voice. They know what happens.
We're used to that. We're used to Ryan's, like, especially around here in the office, Ryan's, like, agitated look.
Really?
Ryan's like,
You have many different innuendos.
like, I'm sick of your shit look that he gives me every once in a while, or not necessarily shit.
That's my natural look. I don't think I mean to do that.
Or is it like this? It's Jerry again.
No, I just screen your call and don't answer it.
Oh, I know that. I know
We
that.
all do that. It's on the do not disturb. Can't you
do
block
not
that
call list?
technically?
Yeah, I have blocked you for many times, but somehow you figure out a way around it. Maybe it's your Darth Vader kind of sense. Or
I don't have to block you. I just never answer my cell phone.
Yeah, see, Simon, this is the way it works here. It's no different here than it is at Boone.
So this is
Or home.
This is the first one of these we're doing, and apparently they're all going to be about the same as this, is what I'm assuming.
Well, I don't know. We're gonna, we'll ask people to like
Just
message
roll
in
with it.
topics and maybe things you want to hear, or maybe we can talk about snowstorms, or
And this isn't live right now.
no, right now, but it could go live. Like,
Once we get
Next
comfortable
time.
enough
That
doing this.
I will admit I am looking incredibly forward to the first live call-in IMCA TV Dirtcast podcast
Why?
episode because I think it'd be just epic.
go ahead, caller.
You think they're going to be...
You think? I mean, who do you think our first caller should be?
I've done that before. Have you guys ever done those before?
What?
I've done a podcast.
Those
I've done-
call-in
yeah,
shows,
you call
the
in.
radio shows. I did a radio show. It's been many years ago back in Oskaloosa. A couple of times I went down to Oski for a radio show, and they had call-ins, and it was
Oh, Travis Barker just rolled really hard.
it was entertaining.
And you never know what's going to come in.
I feel like
Now,
I
Nate's
need
our
a TV
producer.
screen over
Yeah,
here.
hi, Nate. You wanna say hi to
over
everybody,
here.
Nate?
We need more TVs in here.
I can say hi, I suppose.
We need Nate to be able to screen these calls, though, when they come in, when we go live.
We might have to add somebody in for just for that, I guess. To screen calls.
No, don't.
You don't want to
You,
screen
you just
calls?
want it
just bring in
unfiltered?
Yeah.
unfiltered, raw.
Yes,
It'll be like.
Race night.
I mean, what's it matter if you have somebody screening the calls? Really, honestly, just go back to not that long ago when our president took a call live over Christmas, I believe it was, and the caller ends up saying, "Let's go, Brandon." During the call, I mean, how does that happen to the president of the United States?
because this
am I the
call
only person
screener was
asking
not
these
there
questions?
that day. Yeah, apparently you're the only.
If he can't screen his calls effectively, I guess that's my point,
can't.
Nate.
we're not
If
screening phone calls.
the
Well, I mean,
president of the United States does not have enough people to correctly screen his calls, what is it good is it going to do us?
I mean, you could fake it and try to be pleasant, and once you're through the screening process, you can unload.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what it did. I mean, what good does a screening process do? We could just say, "Hey, who are you?"
Right.
And then we can do a little background check on them, give them 30 seconds.
No,
That's just no fun.
we want to hear somebody just tell it how it is sometimes.
Yes,
I
those
mean,
are the-
I do it for like 8 days with you. You tell me how it is all the time off mic.
And like you, I can just turn your microphone off. We can end the call.
Yeah, we could. We could hang up, Nate, and then it's over.
Yeah.
We get those calls at the office. We get those emails. I mean, we all have those parts of our lives where we deal with that kind of stuff. So why? I like.
I've
it.
never
I like
taken an angry call here.
I bet you haven't.
Never.
I've never placed an angry call here.
We screen your calls here, too.
Oh,
so we
that's
don't know what
right.
you have
That's
to
right.
say.
So you never get my angry calls.
I never get angry.
On that note, let's talk about something
Wow.
different, please.
We're lying right out of the
Wow.
Hopefully, my wife is not listening to
gate.
this.
Wow.
Hang on a minute.
I think I know who our first caller is going to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller. Don't send him home to me.
Oh well.
So what are you talking about?
I'm watching stock. I'm watching the B&B chassis all-star race from Super Nationals last year. I'm watching Kelly Shryock right now.
Is it the
working
same?
Working on Van Horn for the lead.
Yeah, they're both the same thing.
Nate, if you're going to grumble in the thing like that, turn to mute.
We could talk about stock car racing. I mean, we could talk about all kinds of stuff right now. I mean, I think let's go back to last year. Let's touch on last year a little bit. You know, and obviously we wrap up our banquet in November, Thanksgiving weekend. You guys were both there. You were there, weren't you, Jerry?
Yeah, I was there.
You were at the banquet, Jerry.
And I remember Ryan. I just don't
Well,
remember.
because you had to look at him. You stuck me out in the hallway with all the cool kids. I didn't have to listen to your speech. I was like, woohoo!
Yeah, exactly. Torture.
You can tune him out?
Well, I mean,
you couldn't hear him out
the
there?
doors were shut, so I couldn't hear a thing. I mean, I heard a lot of there. I knew something had happened during somebody's interview because the crowd went crazy, but that's a whole other story that we'll never.
Yeah, they can check the archives for that.
Yeah, that's somewhere. But I knew something happened then.
wouldn't.
It wasn't my speech.
That
No,
probably
yours
would,
was the
FCC.
Yeah, yours might have been a little not lengthy this year.
Yeah.
This would be the first year I haven't fallen
It
asleep.
on the year.
I timed it. It was 18 minutes, I think.
This is the first year I haven't fallen asleep through it because I didn't
Brett's
hear
speech?
it. So,
Thanks.
hey,
It's like a driver's meeting.
you started the daggers right off the get go.
It's like the drivers' meeting at the Super Nationals.
Oh boy, I will tell you, people do appreciate when you make fun of me because it makes it enjoyable at that point because they finally laugh.
I mean,
Well, it's a point where they can relate. They can relate to Brett when everybody's making fun of you.
And I'm not real good at jokes. I don't have the memory to fire out funny jokes all the time.
You just told us you'd never get mad. That was pretty hysterical.
that'll
Those
get
things
a
I can
laugh.
say, but like telling joke, you meet some people that literally they have a new joke every time you meet them, and they're just it's like they tell jokes all the time. I never tell jokes. I don't remember any jokes.
Yeah.
But when you're at the Super Nationals, if you're going to tell a joke, everybody can use Jerry as the subject, so it's just easy. You know? It's just like hitting
I'm kind of liking this whole Dirtcast thing.
It's like hitting softballs.
Yeah.
I mean, just throw it up.
You should come up and announce races sometime and do it one-on-one direct.
Yeah, no,
If you're going to be making fun of Jerry, everybody will want to listen to you.
well, let's talk about the IMCA yearbook here, 1965, where Jerry Reichert was the sprint car champ. Look at these neat things I find in the office.
There is
like the 83. Remember what happened in 83?
Out here?
Out here?
Mike Schulte?
Don't put me on the spot.
Mike Schulte?
Mike Schulte?
I know the car.
The year?
What did he do in 1983?
What did he do? What was the first thing that happened in 1983?
Super Nationals.
Yeah.
I recognize the car. And that's, for me, that's like, I tell the racers that even to this day. You know, I was like, hey, you drive the red number
72
car.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, because I recognize the cars. You know, everybody's wearing their helmet lots of times. They come through tech, you know.
I think you and I share something.
That car is iconic to me. I mean, that's one that did. I mean, it's just as a child, that's in my mind. For
Bernie
the rest of my
Juliar
life.
was one too. You were a fan of his growing up, weren't you, out here in Vinton?
Yeah, but I just don't remember him as much as you remember
Mike
like
Schulte.
the Mike Schulte, especially, and then Jack Mitchell. To me, I've wrote that in my column before in the newsletter and stuff like that. So, but
So
anyhow,
looking at points from 1983, Jerry.
Yeah,
what
we're
were we going
Mike.
to talk about last year?
Yeah, I thought we were going to talk about 2021.
How did we get on? You went way too far back.
Jerry went into Bill's office and was trying to come up with ideas and things to fill
Lord.
the podcast room with. I said, Jerry, we don't need that stuff.
We
We
are
don't
gonna
have room
have to
for
get-
it today. And he said, yeah, we do. And he started grabbing stuff off the shelves, and I walked away.
See,
Were you talking? I'm sorry.
Ryan's got a list, and somebody's going to
I've
have
got
to
a
keep
list.
us on track.
How about
Otherwise,
I say a name?
Okay,
and you
you
guys
say a
tell
name.
me.
Stray off.
Jeff Larson, Freeport, Illinois.
Oh, it's Bone. Yeah.
Bone
I don't know
Larson.
who Jeff Larson is. I know who Bone
Bone
Larson
Larson.
is. He was a national champion.
Last year.
Yes. And what a great season he had.
Well, he was
Fantastic. Last couple of years, he's been
Yes.
pretty tough.
He was close 2 years ago, but he had the distinction of racing in 3 states every week. And he raced in Wisconsin in Darlington, Wisconsin.
Yep.
And he raced in Illinois at East Moline.
East Moline.
And then otherwise, he raced in Farley. He raced in Maquoketa. So he was a tri-state traveler every
He's
week of
all
the
over
season.
the place.
Yeah, he was
He was at the
everywhere.
Clash. You know, I mean, he was out in Vegas, I believe, this year. I mean, he was kind of all over the
He
place.
went
Super
everywhere.
Nationals.
And he was pretty successful everywhere he went.
Yeah. I mean, he was national champion. He had to do really
Right,
good.
absolutely.
Yeah, he's in the features a lot. I mean, he this year, I mean, he wins a lot, but you know, in some of those bigger events, he's making the races. He's up front. He isn't dominating, but he had a very dominating season last year when it comes to our weekly racing series for sure.
How about Mike Nichols? Have you heard of him before?
Never heard of her. Didn't he win something 11 times?
Like 10 times. 10-time national champion.
10, 11, 12,
Yeah,
17.
once you get that far, it's
just numbers by 2. Yeah, he's been around forever. I remember Mike, we're kind of watching in the background, some racing here on the TV from Shelby County Speedway in Harlan. That's when I first met Mike.
I was going to say, it might not be Mike at Supernationals.
No, but it, I remember meeting Mike years ago before
I see what you did there.
Yeah. He only got there once, I think. But that's where I originally met Mike, was at Harlan, Denison, Alta, when I was working, announcing back in the day out there, and got to know Mike and his dad and the family. And, just has turned into, that guy that every year, if he's not a national champion, he maybe missed like 3 nights somewhere.
He's good for 30, 40 wins a year. You
Exactly.
just bank on it.
Yep. And that's the first place I believe I ran into Mike. I mean, that's where my conversations with Mike always started, was over in Harlan. Back when he was racing modifieds.
He raced a modified?
Yes, he did.
Oh, that's right. He did. It's like a year stint, 1 or 2 years.
Yep. My first early conversations with Mike Nichols were modified racing. Yep.
Mine was always in a stock car.
Yep. One of the fun things that I have is just memories of all the racers that I get to know. Mike, obviously, with his success, I get to know him a little bit personally, but you go back to the conversations you've always had with him and the ones that stick out. And Harlan, Tiny Lund, he claimed, I believe it was Wayne Larson's car. I think one of the Boney kids was driving it, if I remember correctly, the year that Mike Nichols claimed him. And that is a memory that Mike, I'm sure, could probably talk very candidly about. The conversations I had, I was there, and how that all went down. It was one of those memorable moments in my racing career, when you get back to the claim itself and dealing with the claim.
One that sticks in your
How long has it been since he raced a modified?
It would have been
20 years? Has he been
early 2000s.
About 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, when you throw Wayne Larson's name out there in his cars, I mean, that's, late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, because Wayne raced forever, and then he had different people driving his cars, especially at specials.
Mm-hmm. I know, like you said, Boney would drive them, and then you'd have, Dane and Wayne, Dane and Adam, drove those things for years.
Those kids raced.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And they've been out for a while, so it has been a long time.
It's been a long time.
We're all getting old.
Whew. Yeah, some of us older than others.
Yeah, some of us are not going to be in our 40s here very shortly.
Yeah, some of us have a milestone birthday coming up.
Is there a party?
Let's talk about the races.
Oh, I see how that went.
How about Corey Dumpert? There's another national champion, 3-time defending national champion last year. I think he was just the 3rd late model driver in the modern era to win 3 straight national championships in the late model division.
Nebraska racer.
Yeah.
He did it on the final night of racing last year. He was able to, who was it that he beat out? Justin Kai, I think. He won on the final night of points racing over in Nebraska.
Came down the last couple races. And who went where they raced, who was going to show up. Would Kai go here? Would Corey go there? And then the schedules and how they ended. It's always interesting for us, as you know, Ryan. It's always interesting for us in the office to be able to sit here and know what races are coming up, know who has what points. It would be nice if us, and we've talked about this, it would be nice if we could convey that better to other racers, to the racers that are in IMCA, that are interested in those kinds of things in each division, obviously, but also the race fans. There's a lot of really cool stories with as many people as we deal with. There's a lot of really cool stories. And when our points come down to the last race in a division for the entire season, it's pretty cool.
Well, it's been that way the last 2 or 3 years in the late models, too. I think it came down to tenths of a point a couple of years ago based on...
we thought we were going to have a problem.
Yeah, average car count for bonus points a couple of years ago. It's
how are we going to break the tiebreaker of the tiebreaker of the tiebreaker?
Flip a coin. That's what they do in the NFL.
It kind of reminds me of the Super National when all the hobby stocks didn't pass tech that one year. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And I got on the PM like, all right, the next legal car that comes to the Tech 10 is in the feature. Remember that?
Yeah, and there was like 2 showed up.
And then we had complaints that the race cars were about running over people in the pits.
Well, people should have stayed behind the chalk line. Because that was back in the old...
We're wandering again.
No, you're good.
That was the old chalk line days. But you couldn't get over that line?
I always wanted to run that chalk machine.
I ran a chalk machine for a day in Yuma, and it's not as fun as you think it is. No.
You got to be on it all day, don't you? Especially at Boone, because that's still...
Larry rode that thing from sun up to sun up.
He was on it all the time.
It would be fun, though. I've always thought, I'm just going to dress in like a Boone Speedway shirt. It'd kind of be like I don't know what episodes, just get on the chalk machine and just roll down pit road on the chalk machine.
He could be like
put a
undercover
hat on.
boss.
People be like, "Is that Brett on the chalk machine?" It's like Lottie in the tractor. He's, you know, at Boone. You're like, "Where's Lottie?" I don't know. He's got to be somewhere important. No, there he goes, right there on that in the water truck, and he comes back by in the tractor. You know,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Could be like undercover boss or something.
I find those things interesting.
We're going to put Brett in places at Super Nationals.
Correct.
Next year
Like,
that
where's
nobody
Waldo?
will.
Yes.
We'll come up with a daily
Be
schedule.
on the catwalk with a Iowa water koozie.
We have daily prizes if you can find Brett.
Wow. Now we could get a stand-up made of
There
him.
you go.
Nobody cares where Brett's at.
Some want to find you.
yeah,
You won't want them to
Maybe my
find you.
wife
But
at times.
Oh no, she will find you. I've witnessed that firsthand.
I think she's got one of those.
knows.
I think she puts one of those Apple things in my pocket. You know those little trace things where like, where are you at?
Yeah.
Like there's
I thought her
Well,
favorite.
maybe not. Your phone's not ringing.
I thought her favorite band was Devo for a minute. When a problem comes along, you must whip it. I'm on my way.
what else you got over there, Ryan? What are the names on your list?
How about
Who else can we talk about?
Justin Clark from Hamersville, Ohio, the Race Saver Sprint Car National Champion in 2021.
Yeah.
And that was another championship that came down to the very end.
Yep.
I know that Clark was in the Indiana Race Saver Series. He was in the Ohio Sprint Series last year.
He was all over the place.
He was all over, but it was the series titles that propelled him to the national championship last year.
Very cool story. If you go to last year and the struggles, some of the struggles he had, and then this year the struggles he went through, and how it all ended up. You know, everything happens for a reason. Those stories are very cool. And I have never been to any race in the state of Ohio in my life. It's kind of like drag racing. Another fun fact: I have never in my life been to a drag race.
I have. I've ridden in a 2-seat drag car at
I hear
Oscar.
cool things about it.
Eddieeville.
I'm like, why would I go to one of those? I got other things I got to get done.
You were in a drag car?
Yeah, it was years ago. It was.
I went to one as a kid, I think. But I have been to a race in Ohio, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Was it a drag race?
No.
Oh, okay.
Good Lord.
How about Caden Reynolds?
Yeah, he's not. When I think of Caden Reynolds, he's hard to interview.
You know.
Yeah, the pride conversation.
Yes.
He used to be that way. I did his first Victory Lane interview up in Independence 4 years ago, I think. It was his second night in hobby stock. He never said a word. He couldn't talk.
Yeah.
And the more he's won, the more comfortable he's become. But
Yep.
he's not a very outgoing person.
No,
So
he's
you
very-
would have to dominate that conversation,
Yes.
Jerry.
Well, he like the old theory.
He's
You know, he
young.
lets his.
He is.
He's young. He doesn't have. You know,
He's a little shy.
shy. You know, his form of, you know, like we talk about, you know, off the track. You know, he does a lot of iRacing. You don't have a lot of communication there when you're racing, and I think, you know, just it's the generation gaps. You know, like us, we were all outgoing because we talked to each other when we this, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh, hey, yeah.
Social media is where it's at now.
Yeah.
The non-human interaction.
Yeah, but it's
No.
interesting when you got a young racer like that you have to almost pry conversations out of. It's hard to read a little bit at times, even for me. I've been around him in the tech area a lot last year because he won a lot. But you put him in a race car and he's just...
It's like he's screaming.
Yeah, it's like he's not bashful out there.
Right.
No.
There's no shyness about him when he's on the racetrack. I mean, he's to the front as fast as he can get there every time he's on the track. So those things are kind of cool about personalities of racers and stuff like that. We're all different, you know?
Well, he can be a
You
stock
take
car
Mike Nichols, you know, and then you've got Caden Reynolds. I mean, put them on the stage and let them talk in front of people, and they're like, whoa, you can see the difference.
Yeah.
But then you put them on a racetrack, and I'm not so sure Caden wouldn't be faster in a stock car.
We'll find out this year.
Yep.
How about
We are.
Matt Loaf from Sway City, Iowa, like 3-time champion this year in the Sport Mod division, and he is all-time leading feature winner in that division now.
Yeah.
So he has been fast since day one.
Greatest interview I ever did with a racer, and I've done a lot of those. Was with Matt Loft.
What made his so great?
Well, so you know, I did my best Joan Rivers, you know, out there on the red carpet. We got some interviews after that.
Oh, you're talking in the banquet.
Yeah, at the banquet. Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought you meant Victory Lane.
No. So they're standing there. We're doing these interviews, and they sit down, and he says, the boy, his son, so we want to do the interview. Okay. I just give him the mic, and I says, "What do you want to ask your dad?" Oh, well, how fast was your car? And just it was just a neat, you know, they sat there on our laps, and it was just, that was cool. That was cool for me because it was like these kids are soaking this up, and they're going to remember this, and that's our next generation of racers. And then Matt was just like, you know, he was that was so cool. They had so much fun, and I did too. And thank you. And you know, you just humble is is a word I think of when I think of Matt. And because I've watched him from the day he started racing when I was, you know, up in Algona, Fairmont, you know, Britt area, watching him race when he started, and you know, he's come so far in a long ways just by being him.
And he's one of those guys too. He's like Caden Reynolds. He doesn't talk a lot, but when he does, you know, it's with purpose, and he leaves his talking for the racetrack. Yeah. So he's been successful in that division for a long time, and
he's always been well spoken when he speaks at the banquet too. Yeah. His speeches are always very polished, very good.
I think his wife Brittany has a lot to make sure that he's polished when he speaks publicly. So
sure,
she dots all the I's and crosses all the T's, I think. How about Matthew Day, Farmersville, Texas, the Southern Sport Mod National Champion?
Yep.
Don't know much about him personally. Youngster. He's just a kid, I think.
Yeah, I'll probably get to see him next week.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You're heading to Texas.
Yeah, heading to Texas for some Southern Sport Mods for the.
He's down there somewhere.
Somewhere we'll find him. I'll be like, hey.
I probably knew his father Dan more. You know, you go into those.
Well, that's his dad. I didn't know that.
Correct. Yeah, you go back to when I first started in IMCA, and you go back to the Texas Nationals. You know, a lot of those early races down there, back at Royce City, and some of those. You know, I have a lot of memories, and some of my early trips for IMCA were in the state of Texas. Went to Boyd, or you know, a lot of those tracks, a lot of those racers. I got to kind of know them, and Dan was one. He's probably, I don't know his age exactly. I mean, we could look it up in our membership, but he's got to be close to my age.
Which is?
And I just remember him racing. He's raced mods. I think he's raced stock cars.
Yeah,
I think he's raced a couple different divisions.
Yeah, you guys probably have children the same age.
So it's really, really, it's cool to me.
Right.
You know, my Matthew Day story would be, it's cool to me to see guys who I knew racing and I identify with from many years ago, that their kids are now old enough to race,
right,
and they're having that much success. You know, it's just that's what makes, in my opinion, that's what makes racing so special, is those father-son, father-daughter, you know, family dynamics that come into race teams that we see at every racetrack we go to. You know, there's all kinds of stories like that. The industry's full of them.
I thought you were going to say something.
No, I was.
I
was. I mean, I don't really have much to comment on the Southern Sport Mods. It's not a class that I see all the time,
right,
or ever, unless I get to Texas. So you know, I.
And when you see them coming up, that'll be their first events of the year. They haven't had a sanctioned event yet in 2022. So
yeah.
So if I see them racing, hey, I've heard about you.
Wildly popular down there. People love Southern Sport.
Oh, they do
down there. They're very opinionated on them. They're passionate about them, but most divisions people are. But Southerns in Texas are kind of the thing that they've stamped themselves.
Well, they're kind of protective of it. It's like
a
territorial in a little bit.
A little bit.
You don't get this. It's ours.
Yeah.
How about Kane Malberg in the Sport Compacts out of Dunlap, Iowa? He was your 2021 national champion. Have you had much interaction with him through the years, Jerry, that you can recall? Western Iowa driver, so I'm not familiar.
Off and on. I remember he'd come, you know, he'd race over this way a little bit. We'd run into him back when he started, you know, when I was announcing Alta Weekly, would run into him up there when they had the Sport Compacts and started up there. So if I remember right, I think it's, you know, kind of like everything. It's a pretty good racing family from down there.
Right. Yeah. Is Shannon his dad?
Don't quote me, but they're related.
I think they are related, and that's a seasoned compact driver as well.
Exactly.
He's had some success in the division.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I don't have a lot of memories of them, other than my wife would tell you, oh, they come to the souvenir trailers and stuff like that. You know, we didn't have a T-shirt, so you know sometimes those things become points where people remember, like, how come you don't have a Sport Compact T-shirt?
we did at one time.
Little things.
And
like
we give them away.
We did. We gave a lot of them away.
Yeah. Dylan Rafferty, Kansas City, the inaugural Stars Mod Light National Champion, had a heck of a year last year. You saw him.
I saw him quite a bit.
Well, he traveled a lot last year. I think he raced at as many racetracks as a Mod Light driver as anybody in the country.
Yep.
And he and his family
racing
at Marshalltown.
Racing family.
Boone
and, you know, and
passed away.
Yeah, that was, you know, to hear that, you know, I was going through and doing year-end reports, you know, 1099s for Marshalltown and going through there, and I needed some information, and I was like, so I talked to him, and it's like literally 4 days later, it's like, oh, you know, you just never know how little life is going to change for anybody, and you know, they had a great season, and you know, I love the story of them. You know, Dylan doesn't have a driver's license. He doesn't drive. They build their cars right in their garage, right in their garage at home. He self-taught himself. He was self-taught how to use a computer-aided drafting, how to use a plasma machine, how to use a welder, how to build. I mean, they didn't go to ABC chassis and say, hey, I want one of those. They went and looked at an ABC chassis and built a XYZ and built 3 of them right in their garage and come out to win a national championship with it and a Super Nationals title. That's old school there in my eyes.
Build fast ones.
Yes, they do.
Well, heck, his dad raced, and his brother, I think, as well races.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yep. Yeah. It was always kind of I remember passing them one night, and it was like if you ever watch people go on snowmobile trips where they've got that one snowmobile on the tailgate all jacked up like this, literally had a mod light in the box of the truck on a flatbed, and then the 2 in the trailer.
Wow.
It's crazy. I'm like, is that? Yeah, then I just passed them.
How long of a tow would that be from Kansas City to Marshalltown, do you think?
Well, it's from
3 hours. Probably.
Yeah, from Boone. Well, from Boone to Marshalltown,
3 hours.
or from Boone to Kansas City is right at 3 hours, depending on where you're going.
Yeah. So maybe even a little bit farther.
3.5, 3:45.
Yeah, depending on traffic.
Yeah. Any given time on the top side of Des Moines, it can take you 20
20
days and
Or
3
Kansas City.
beers. Oh, yes.
You've been late to Boone, I think, due to Des Moines traffic, or late to Marshalltown due to Des Moines traffic.
Yeah.
A given Friday night.
Yeah. Don't have to worry about that anymore.
Well, that's
No, we had some great champions last year.
Oh, it's
We really
awesome.
did.
And it was a stellar year, knowing what we came off of in 2020, knowing that there were so many racetracks that didn't get to have tracks with fans, they had only have limited, and we talked about this, when we put those early races on where it was the invite races. You can't have it count for points because it's an invite, because not everybody gets a chance to come to get points. So it became,
Jefferson.
yeah, exactly. Those races we put on up there, it was, you can do
You
them.
made national news with that race.
Yeah, I think that was.
I remember standing at Park Jefferson, and I remember walking. You need to get your mask on. You need to get your mask on. Why? CNN, Fox, they're all sitting out there wanting to see this fail. And at that time there wasn't really a mask mandate. We were just doing it to do what we were supposed to do. But it was crazy that day, those 2 weekends up there, that was the only sporting event in the world that was live. And it was IMCA sanctioned racing.
And I was going to go. I was, obviously they were asking about sanctioning it. I'm like, yeah, I think I might come over. And they're like, well, we're kind of limited on capacity. And if you don't really need to come, you don't really need to be here. And I'm like, okay, I'll stay home. So I stayed home, but I was actually going to go to that as well. But again, now in 20 years, what if we're still alive in 20 years? But in 20 years, you look back at those circumstances, and we're all probably going to go, how crazy was that?
Mm-hmm.
How crazy was that? How crazy has the last 2 years been?
Yeah, it wasn't even just 2020. I mean, that's when we, I think, suffered the most
Yes.
through it. But even there was a lot of uncertainty entering 2021 that I think it impacted a lot of tracks throughout the country before things got back to somewhat normal. So
we had some didn't even open.
Yeah, and then and we still, who knows what's going to happen with 2022? Certain areas may have certain restrictions yet moving forward. So
They
it's
seem to be lightening up on most of
getting
that stuff.
closer.
Yeah.
But,
Lots of announcements in the last couple of days, especially pulling masks off.
Right.
And Ryan,
Indoors and all those other kinds of things.
I still
All the
request that you wear
pandemic.
one when I stand next to you. At a
I do know that 2021 was probably one of the hardest years for you, especially the last day of the year when the final Golden Girl, Betty White, passed away.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm a Golden Girls fan.
I know you
Where did
are,
that
and I
come
do
from?
too.
Where did that come from?
Because we were talking about years and how things were, things like that, and I just knew that was tough on you.
It plays on our television in the IMCA office on a daily basis.
No, it's not anymore.
Oh, not see.
Now we've
you
got
know this.
No, the TV changed up front. We found up there earlier this week was the Price is Right channel. We've got
Whoa! You mean
we've got Bob Barker circa 1983 going up there.
Yeah.
that is
We had to finally change. With the Olympics are going now.
Oh, well, yeah, they're happening right now.
We got them on the lot.
We actually do work here. Sometimes we watch TV.
I listen to it for the noise. I don't know half
Well,
the
I
time.
mean, that's usually what you would
what's
listen
going
for.
on. Not for anything specific, but I just like to know that there's.
Do you ever
noise in the
catch him
background.
quoting, like when the Golden Girls? Did he ever quote the lines like from, because he is,
Not that I'm aware of.
he is kind of a B. Arthur. He is
He's a fan.
He is a pussycat. Hi, pussycat.
I pick up on the conversations in the office enough to know that Golden Girls is dear to his heart.
It is. I like it too. I mean, I remember they had the Golden Girls Marathon on a Hallmark. I literally had it on. I mean, the only thing I watched that much in a row is A Christmas Story at Christmas Eve to Christmas Day. I think in 3 TVs in our house between Jackie and I, we had Golden Girls for like 28 hours.
Hey, Nate, when did we go off the rails here?
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about
30
racing.
minutes ago.
I was going to interrupt. Also on December 31st, last day of 2021, we had our first race of 2022.
Yes.
Which was a little strange. I don't know if we've ever actually done that before.
That was at Mojave Valley.
Mojave Valley.
Yeah. Yep. So, again, for us, when I first started here they were in Vinton Dirt, it was not common for us to be messing with sanctioned events much more than maybe the end of March, and it's just every year it's, as we've expanded into other parts of the country where the climates are different and things like that, it just lends to us to starting more. And, around here, I go out in town and, somebody knows, hey, get ready for racing to start. And I'm like,
it already has.
Yeah. Well, that's like, too
late.
I would have never thought, 20, 30 years ago in doing what I do, would somebody have said I was going to be announcing car races in January? I'd have said, yeah, right, where?
Yeah, exactly.
Here, I spent 8 days at Kokopah for the Winter Nationals. And, 318 different drivers over 19 states in Canada coming to 72-degree weather all day, shorts and T-shirts. It was beautiful.
Yeah. I was talking to our points and membership director, Virginia Lindsay, earlier, and there have been 19 sanctioned modified races already this year. I think every one of them has been in Arizona. But
has Ethan Dodson won every one of those?
No, there was
7. Yeah, I had to bring that up because he was doing very well in Kokopah.
Yes, he was spoiling the victors for everybody.
We threw up a bonus one night. I think we threw up a bonus to try to get him to go to the back, and I knew he wasn't going to take it.
He said there wasn't enough zeros in it.
Yeah.
Now, you were out in Arizona.
Yep.
So how many? He's won 7 times. They've got 3 drivers who have won multiple races in the modified division aside from him. Did you already cheat? You know where they are?
Nope. Chaz Baca.
Yep. He's won twice.
I'm trying to think. This might take me a while, but I know Baca for sure.
Yep. He only counts once. You can say his name as often as you want, but it only counts as once.
Baca.
Do, 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 do. It's like a game
Not
show.
Cody Thompson.
See, we need one of those
Cody
things
Thompson?
where you can push the button and it plays the music. Nate, can you order one of those?
Can you order? Yeah, order a 360.
I want something where I can push buttons. We're also probably going to need like a timer.
Yeah. What time is it anyway, Nate?
Behind our heads.
Have we filled a lot of time? It's almost 4 o'clock.
Or like something I can...
It is 4 o'clock.
I sit close enough to Jerry or Ryan, I can kick somebody.
No, you're far. You're close enough. So so Dotson, Baca.
Dotson 7, Baca 2. 2 other drivers have won twice.
I don't know because they were not where I was.
I'll give you a hint by giving you their names. Would that help you?
But or give me a car number. I can tell you.
I'm not going to do that. I don't even know. What car number this gentleman drives. And I don't. Some of these guys drive renter rides. These preseason specials. These guys might not. Zachary Madrid.
Oh yeah. No, that was his. No, that 5M. That was his car.
And then Don Shaw has won twice.
Yes. Because he.
Did you say no to Cody Thompson?
Winning twice? Has he won twice?
Oh, you're going twice.
Multiple. Okay. Yeah, Cody Thompson won. Yeah, multiple.
Yes.
Okay. The only time you talk is you try to prove me wrong. Is that how this works, Nate?
Because he won. He won it one night at Casa, right?
Yeah.
Central Arizona.
Yep.
That's why I was thinking maybe he'd won another that I didn't know about.
I think he's only, unless I saw the results before they were all entered. That's the one caveat here.
Caviar?
One of my favorite stories. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Jim Horish.
Oh, that dude's awesome.
Had been out of a stock car for 20 years. He'd raced modified. He'd raced sport mod. He qualified to Super Nationals last year for the first time, and he got a stock car. I think he won twice.
Yeah, he won twice.
Won twice in the stock cars.
And he came up. It was kind of one of those deals. The last night, it was the last night to win the Winter Nationals title at Kokopah. It came down to the last night. There was, I think, 6 points separating him and Chance Hollitz.
Yep.
And it was one of those deals. We watched the replay. He watched it afterwards and said, "Yeah, he just slowed down quicker than I thought, and he got into him. And a call had to be made. But even though he went to the back, he still come within. 4 points of still tying for it. I mean, it just goes to show the competition. Like you said, it was fun to talk to him down there.
Yeah.
He was just like, I don't know about this. The first night I said, hey, what do you think? I don't know. He said, I haven't drove one of these for 20 years. I'm used to, a modified, and I'm probably going to suck. So I'd seen him in Victory Lane, and off mic, I go, how's it feel to suck? He goes, this is awesome.
Well, he sold his sport mods. So
yeah.
He sold
and it was his birthday.
Yeah.
So the running joke down there was the first night was his birthday. The second night was his son's birthday, and his son surprised him by flying in to Yuma to watch the races. And then so when we were doing our interview on Thursday night, he says, if it's anybody's birthday, come down and see me. He says, I'll win you a trophy tomorrow night. And well, he didn't have any birthday takers, and he didn't win. So, but it was
proves a variety of things. One, racing is like riding a bicycle. You really don't forget how to do it. And two, guys who can drive race cars can drive race cars. You know what I mean? Yeah. It doesn't matter what race car they're in. And a guy who can jump from division, and even divisions that they've never raced before, and we see multiple people do this on every year. They have successes in it. It just goes to show, how skilled the driving a race car can be, and some guys are just really good at it. And
And the fact that he qualified at Boone last year for the first time, it's just cool. I mean, he might be faster now than he's ever been. Who knows? Yeah,
that's one of those stats. It's always interesting. I wish we could just put that up on our screen right now. Guys who have attended the Super Nationals for the very first time and actually qualified for the feature, and just have the list, and then go to the flip side. Who's attended the Super Nationals the longest, the most, and never made the Super Nationals? Because there are people that are in those circumstances.
I can think of two.
So he's the Matthew Stafford.
You?
No.
Oh. Me?
The Flying Hall Brothers.
Flying Hall Brothers. Yeah. So Jim Horsch is like the Matthew Stafford of the stock car division. Of the sport mod division.
There you go.
Watching, we're kind of back here in the background, watching the inaugural All-Star race for the stock cars. Kelly Shryock is a prime example. He hadn't run it. Now we watched Barker go for a flip. We hadn't seen, Kelly Shryock hadn't seen a full fendered car since the late 80s. And he's always been a modified guy.
Yeah.
And for a guy like him, with the talent that he has, to jump into something is totally different than what he's ran for 30 years.
Yep.
And to, qualify for the Super Nationals, win a Race of Champions race the first year he does it, win the inaugural All-Star race. I mean, it's just the caliber of drivers that we have in our sport and that we have in IMCA that they can do anything. I mean, they're so, the cars are
versatile.
Yeah, they're versatile, and the cars are made for those kind of guys to just jump in and be able to grab a hold of.
That was a wild flip.
That was a bad flip, yeah. That was like lap number.
That was right on the front straightaway too.
That was right. That was like lap number.
Events, and it catches him. He's trying to avoid it, and
it was lap number 2 of the All-Star race, because they just crashed right before that. And that was another thing. Speaking of things that happen, chances, events. Travis Barker was qualified for the Race of Champions races. And he had multiple drivers come up to him and say, hey, take my car, use my car, take my car. You're in, you need to race. And he just was like, I already junked one race car. I don't want to. But I remember talking to him on Saturday. He says, Jerry, I couldn't believe the people that came up and said, you can use my car.
It's a big community.
Race it. So
there's a lot of race cars there to borrow too.
Oh, there was quite a few. There was more than 200.
And that's the thing. A lot of people will borrow cars to people. They don't even know.
Yeah. Cars, engines, shocks.
It's that bond that racing creates with people. A lot of good stories in the sport. A lot of good situations.
I'll borrow it in my yearbook.
That yearbook's older than all of us.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's a couple years older than you are.
Right.
I said all of us. No, this year, here we are in the middle of February as we're doing this. We'll kick off in Texas and Abilene next weekend with the Icebreaker. We've had a few races up until now, but Texas, the Icebreaker in general for me has always been. I've been going down there since as long as I've been at IMCA. Back when Tommy Simons was promoting the place, Rob and Libby Poor have it now, and that's kind of been our first race of the year. Mm-hmm. Kind of kicks it off. A lot of guys here in the Midwest. Texas is reachable. Straight south, they'll go down there. The weather's decent enough, and get out of the cold stuff that we're still got lingering around here, and kick off the racing season down there. And we got the Sniper Tour following it up now on Sunday in Waco after the icebreaker is done, and whole week of stock car racing. There's just a lot of things coming up. It's going to start getting really busy.
And you're going down there for that, aren't you, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to worry about the 100-year storm. Yeah, we'll leave.
That happened last year.
Yeah, so this year, I mean, looking at the long range, I mean, if you're seeing this and it's before the icebreaker, get your stuff loaded and go, because the weather looks good. I mean, the weather's supposed to be mid 60s. There's not a chance of rain. I mean, there's a very small chance of rain, but that's fun. I mean, we'll leave here on Wednesday.
Nothing like last year.
Yeah, unlike last year where it didn't rain. It just iced and snowed and created havoc. But we'll leave like everybody. Leave like Wednesday. Get down there. Practice at Abilene on Thursday.
It's a long drive from here.
Yeah.
And there's information on both of those events too at imca.com.
Yep.
There's a complete schedule
also be
and details.
Broadcasting on IMCA TV.
Yeah, everything from next Friday all the way through the Sniper Tour are going to be on IMCA.
There's some
TV.
great bonus prize, I believe. Prizes available at the Sniper Speed Stock Car Tour. They've got perfect attendance, sportsmanship award. Kirk Martin, longtime stock car driver from down there, passed away unexpectedly this year. So there's a sportsmanship award named after him. A lot of great sponsors. All those details are on the website also.
Yes. And somebody could get a chance to win $10,000.
That's a lot of money. You
I mean, it pays. So it pays $5,000 for the title.
Right.
So if you're now the one stipulation is you've got to be pre-registered by the date it says on the website. I can't think of it right off the top of my head, but you got to be pre-registered. If you're not, you can still race the tour. We'll take you on the tour all day long, but you're not eligible for the contingency prizes. And the entry fees differ just a little bit.
And the $10,000 bonus is winning both main events at Devil's Bowl Speedway in Mesquite, Texas on the 26th, or on the 25th, and then the 26th at Kennedale, $10,000 bonus.
I like that Kennedale place. I remember,
Devil's Bowl's the 21st.
Yeah. So I remember going to Kennedale 2 years ago on the Sniper Tour, and it reminded me of a lot of at home. It was
it's a great racetrack.
Beautiful little,
nice
great
racetrack.
Facility, and it was great racing. I mean, each track we went to, Grayson County, of course, Waco, heart of Texas. That's just a beautiful facility. Every place we went to was great. This year I'm looking forward to going to Devil's Bowl, my first time there. Mesquite, in Mesquite, looking forward to Boyd. Never been there before. So a couple new racetracks I get to go to that are great facilities that are going to put on probably, the IMCA stock cars, I don't care what you say. And I don't care where I go. Brett, Brian, you're the same. Everybody talks about IMCA stock cars and how awesome they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the best racing around.
Yeah.
It's a good set of rules.
It is. I had a couple guys tell me, I told them I was coming over here. Tell Brett not to mess with it.
Yeah, I hear that occasionally.
Occasionally, what, 72? Yeah, but from like November 1st to November 24th, do you hear it like all the time? Got the rules yet? You got the rules yet? Got the rules yet?
Yeah, it dominates the conversations, but it's our busy time of the year. This time of the year is the busy time for us generally as an association, and then once we get racing, in my opinion, it calms down. As weird as that may sound to say,
accurate.
No, it is. I mean, even like for me, it's right now it's busy, tedious time because you're taking care of finishing up last year's business. You're starting this year's business. You're getting things ready for the upcoming season, whether it's racers, promoters, announcers, sanctioning bodies. The downtime when we're not racing is always the busiest time.
A lot of people think that the racing only starts when the gates open on race day, and it's over when the last checkered flag falls. But that runs itself by and large most of the time.
Yeah, for
everything else.
Yeah, for a typical promoter or even a racer, it can a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday can be a 20-hour day. Like a promoter prepping a racetrack. Getting things ready. By the time you get there in the morning, you get your concessions, you're working the racetrack. You get there at 6 and you leave at midnight, 1 o'clock. I mean, that's a good full day.
Yeah. How do you like podcast room? Do you like this?
Well, it's been a work in progress for a couple, 2 or 3 years.
A little bare.
I like it.
We need to dress it up a little bit.
Oh, we could have
put some of these old catalogs on some
You know,
shelves
someone
back
mailed
here
me
from the
behind us.
1986.
Something to compliment my Darth Vader and my Dirt Knight.
I should have brought it in today, but someone had mailed me eye goggles from.
Yeah.
They've got to be 75 years old. IMCA. I think they were IMCA goggles.
No way.
Now, they are falling apart, but they're in my office. I've never had a home for them before,
Well,
but I
see
think
them.
we've got a home for them.
Put them on
I'll bring
on a
those in.
shelf.
I can
over
take responsibility for that, Ryan. You told me to remind you to bring the goggles.
Well, they're here. They're in my office. But
Right.
yeah, we're halfway there. We blame you.
I'm pretty excited about this podcast room.
Yeah, it's only like 2 years in the making.
Getting this first one in, 2 years.
So the word is Jerry and I are going to be doing this regularly, and then are we going to have like call-in people? Are you going to join us on a regular basis, or do we
It's
have
still a little
format?
up in the air. I still think moving to an open forum situation, open discussion where we can talk about racing, the stuff that's happened the week prior and the week coming up.
We could have another guest in that.
We can talk about the controversial things that people want us to talk about at times. I like the idea of the podcast. I like the idea of doing this live and even taped. I like just being able to say, have the conversations we need to have with people, to be able to say, this is what we think, this is what we do. Because I think a lot these days, a lot of people put on social media, especially, like to put words in our mouth. This is what IMCA is doing. This is what IMCA thinks. And
IMCA told me this.
And I'll read some of that stuff, and I'll be like, oh, wait a second. Nobody told me this, you know. So I think it's good. I think it's always good. I think the racers deserve it. I think race fans deserve these kind of open discussions and transparency and all that kind of stuff. But I really don't think they necessarily want to listen to us three talk all the time. I mean, they're going to want to talk to race car drivers, the people that they're in the sport to see. People don't come to Boone Speedway, no offense, necessarily to just listen to you.
I've said now,
but there are a number of
part
people.
Of the show.
There are a number of people who I know don't go to Boone Speedway because he is.
Yeah, we got those emails too. They might even call in.
They might even call.
Go
ahead, caller.
Those are the unfiltered.
That dumb son of a. Hang up.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but that it is. We'll make the show whatever, what it needs to be, what people want. I mean, it's no different than a car race. I mean, if people want to see this and that, we do what we can to make that stuff happen. And same with this,
we can do it this week in IMCA. We can do all kinds of interesting things. I don't really think race results is what people want to tune in and listen to all the time. I think they want to have honest discussions about all kinds of things, and many of which may not even be exactly centered around race results or around racing. You just have general questions.
They might want to know our opinion on the current events on the AM radio or something.
Exactly. It would be
Who's your favorite
good
Golden Girl?
To encourage people
Blanche, of course,
to email us.
Right.
Email us. Hey, what do you guys want us to talk about?
Yeah.
What do you want this week's subject to be? And put it up to where people to say, hey, this is what we want to hear about. These are the discussions we want you guys having. I don't think there's anything that's really gonna be off the table when it comes to those conversations. It's an interesting time, obviously, with product shortages. We've dealt with the pandemic and all that stuff that it did during the last couple of years, and now we're dealing even with still some of the results of that, and it's impacting racers and racetracks and events and things like that. So I think racers always want to hear what our take is on maybe why these things have happened, or what can we do to resolve them.
We just keep it real.
Yeah, heck yeah, why not?
Blanche is my favorite Golden Girl, though. She's. Brett's is like Betty White, though. I think Brett was a big Betty White fan.
I liked all of them.
I did too.
Who can you relate the most?
I've watched a couple.
Me, if I can relate to Betty White.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're no Blanche.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely no Blanche. Why did it get so awkwardly silent right there? So we don't know when the next podcast will be. We could record it like in 2 minutes and air it again, or we could just put it out there. We're going to go.
If we get good enough,
here's the days we're going to do them. If we get good enough, we might
we'll
be
go
like
live at some point in time.
Yeah.
Which we have to be to take calls.
We need to be able to get you over here, and Ryan.
Oh, that's easy. I just got to tell me when to be here.
Ryan can't be bowling or anything like that, but that's his evening.
We're bartending, so we can't do it Wednesday nights. But it would have to be an evening. It would have to be an evening. Like,
what's keeping your days full these days,
Yeah,
Jerry?
no kidding.
lots of stuff.
Do you have a job?
Yes, I have a job.
Come on.
Come on. I'm a
We are
newly.
supposed to be open and transparent here. You should not be lying.
I don't know if you have a job. You're a lot of work, but I don't know.
Yeah,
if you have a job.
I don't
Depends
go
on
to
what
work. I don't go to work every day, but I work every day.
There you go.
I get to do what I want to do. I mean, that's I'm I mean, I'm more involved. I'm not gonna lie. I'm more involved at Marshalltown, which not having a full-time job at the car dealership, it also lets me be a little more involved at Boone to be helping out with some of the stuff that happens there. So
does anybody at Boone know that?
What? Yeah, they do.
Have they been told?
Yeah, I think warned? I told somebody. No, I think there was a pigeon carrier sent over there, and it got shot at about State Center. So, no, but it's just, anything we can do to make this stuff fun, make racing fun, make people just want to be a part of it. That's what's the biggest thing is stuff like this, I think.
I think so.
And however we got to do it, we'll do it.
Yeah, we didn't build this podcast room for nothing.
Yeah. We didn't build They didn't build Rome in a day either.
This didn't go up in a day either.
Yeah, I think Rome was built quicker though.
What,
we'll get
2 years? Under 2 years. It was under 2
less than 2 years. It was my pandemic project. That's what started.
We could get a Christmas tree in here at Christmas time. We could decorate for Halloween.
We'll get some stuff, but yeah, we've got those decorations around the office.
St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Valentine's Day.
Green. We could have a green discussion. We could have a
green screen.
Green discussion.
Discussion.
Yeah. Why is green so superstitious?
And why is
racing?
Yeah,
it's one of those things.
And why are leprechauns green?
That's a good question too.
Exactly. I mean, did you think one day somebody's like, "Oh, look at that green thing! It's a leprechaun."
What the hell goes on in your head?
You don't want to know.
Only he knows that.
And I don't even know. No, see, don't lie to people because I have no idea what happens up here. It just happens.
Yeah, I can't Jerry in February, Brett. I just can't.
Hey, you want to go to Texas for a week?
No,
I'll drive.
I would love to go to Texas for a week, but let me know when you're back so I can make my travel plans.
Then you better leave now because I won't. I'll be back in March. You can watch me every night though.
March?
Listen.
You're not coming back till March?
No, I mean I'll be the 28th of February. I mean it's not like.
So we're going to do this again for a little while.
Yeah. I'll be 50 by the time he gets back.
50?
50. He turns 50 on the 20th.
Yeah.
50.
Send cards and letters.
It's one of the reasons I am unlikely going to be seen in Abilene for the Icebreaker or obviously in the Lone Star.
He's already scheduled his hip replacement.
Stock car tour. Yeah.
You already got your hip replacement.
I got my surgery out of the way.
Surgery
out of the way a couple weeks ago. Carpal tunnel surgery.
Well, you're going to...
I'm typing too much.
Daytona for RPM too, aren't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow for Daytona for Speed Weeks. I'll be down there for a few days. And then, going straight back to Texas. My wife would enjoy going to Texas, don't get me wrong, but we're going to stick around here. I hope she's not throwing a birthday party because I'm not much of a birthday party guy if you haven't figured it out yet.
Are you much of a drinking guy?
Especially since you're turning 50.
It depends on the moment.
So say like one day you walked into the house and people came out from behind the couches and said, "Surprise!"
Yeah, I'd probably have a Crown and Coke or a Crown and DP
or multiples.
Yeah.
Now what if you just came home alone and nobody said surprise?
It depends on what my day was like, whether or not I have.
You had to see me.
DP.
Oh God.
If I see you,
yeah,
if you were in my home,
no, not in your house, like here.
Oh, I thought you meant if you were in his house and you were the only one there to greet him when he got home.
I'd be like, wait a second.
Well,
I just got strange.
In your mind, it did, and it was perfectly fine. I was looking for something.
Who let this guy in my house? My dog would have probably chewed your leg off.
No, your dog looks sweet and innocent. Your dog looks like my dogs. They couldn't
all bark,
hurt.
no bite.
Exactly. I have 2 of them that do that at home.
Oh, yeah.
You come to the door, let them in.
So,
like me.
So when we'll do our next podcast, I don't know. I mean,
what is today? The 10th?
Let's plan on it February 28th, weather permitting. We'll have to
do it when Jerry can go. Again, we get these schedules were all coordinated, and it would be nice if
I'm here.
Do you have bowling on Monday night?
We can do it during the day. You can come over during the day.
Most of the people are going to watch it at night when they're sitting in the comfort of their home if they're live.
I get it.
Live is at night.
Yeah, but we'd have to have a really set schedule. We'd have to have a time. We'd have to be very strict. We couldn't let you wander or me wander in our conversations or any of those other kinds of things.
What? Why does it have to be so scripted?
Nate would have to have some sort of a red light back there he turned on. You know, when the light goes on, when the light goes on, it's kind of like when they turn the music on when you're watching the news. You know, when they do interviews and they turn the music on to get the guy to shut up.
Oh, the Emmys when you get your acceptance speech
awards.
And the band starts playing.
They just
and
keep talking, like you, Jerry. You just keep talking.
Yeah, they're like pulling the mic right. Like,
Nate,
this is gonna be like trying to corral two grease pigs here, trying to coordinate their schedules.
Nate, would you? Nate, would you?
We gotta
Nate,
be careful too to not cut into Brett's lawn mowing time.
oh, come on now. What do you got to go there for? It's not even springtime yet.
Oh,
Wishful thinking. I'm ready for spring.
Mowing is my window time.
I do enjoy
just
mowing
leave it
also.
at that.
I do enjoy just mowing.
Yep.
Nobody bothers you. You can get a good stripe laid. Once you get that first stripe laid, it's easy. Just keep, boom. You stand back on the street and go, that looks awesome. Striped.
Does your mower have a striper?
Yeah, duh.
Oh,
At home and at the farm. Probably at the racetrack, too. Yeah. Have the best looking infield in the world. Are you done? You don't want to talk about mowing?
Don't you have music you can play?
No, he's going to post edit the music.
Post edit.
We haven't.
This is our first one. We're trying to see how it goes.
This has been an hour and a half, and by the
Has it
time
been that
he's
long?
done,
No, it has not.
We haven't talked that long.
I started recording. It's been an hour and 1 minute, and
by the time you
we
get
recorded
done,
like 15
It was
minutes
after
of nonsense
3.
for a
Yeah,
while.
it
So
was after
we're about
3.
45 minutes-ish right now.
so
After
by the time
3
you
we're
edit all the
recording.
crap out, it'll be 8 minutes with a nice song.
But we really wouldn't need to have Jerry. I was going to say, wouldn't need to have you here. It would be nice if we could even do driver interviews, pull them in, put them on the TV.
Oh yeah, we can do Zoom calls.
Get some of our guys that are winning races that obviously out of state that don't live in Vinton
okay,
or
so-
live an hour from Vinton.
You just don't
Who
quite
doesn't
get
want to
it.
live in Vinton? I don't understand.
I
it
mean, I
myself.
drove through it today, and I mean, I saw a couple things that wouldn't draw me here. There's a
Exactly.
racetrack and a bowling alley and some bars.
And a Tyson's
Tyson's.
Ooh, yeah.
and one stoplight.
We're getting a new Dollar General too.
We are.
What?
We're gonna
No.
open.
We are big time now.
Holy.
A McDonald's.
Yeah. Oh, you got a couple Casey's.
Just one.
One.
Oh, there's only one? Oh, okay.
The old
Oh,
one.
you got them Quick Start?
The old one's now a gun store in case you're ever looking for a firearm.
Go downtown.
Ooh.
just
You have
go
a
right
you have a
downtown.
very lucrative business district or industrial park back here.
Yeah.
What else do you have? Oh, there's the little ice cream shop on the highway.
You really scoped us out today when you went to lunch.
I mean, I get over here occasionally, so
There's
I
a
kind of
jail in town in case you get in trouble. There's a place
Can I
to
get free
go.
upgrades?
There's
Do you think the
there's-
sheriff? Do you think the Benton County Sheriff would give me free
There's
upgrades?
a hospital in the
We have-
corner of town in case you have an accident. We need to take.
Like him
take-
push down the stairs of the tower or
We have a
something?
very effective police department here in town that
Oh,
will
I
pull you
know.
over for speeding.
Excuse me, you know I stopped you. You were doing 9 over. Hey, you know you're doing 11 over, but I'm not trying to make this difficult.
We'll get some more stuff. So if we do
Yeah.
a couple weeks, I'll try to get some more stuff on the wall. Try to get some decoration.
What do you think we should put on the wall?
Maybe we should we should put out an APB for subjects. You know, hey, what do you guys want to do for subjects? What do the racers, what do fans want to hear us talk about? Who do they want to talk to? You know, without the racing starting, I mean, obviously we go back to last year's results and talk to a Bones Larson or somebody like that. You know, but you know,
Can we do like a segment like math with Ryan or numbers with Ryan? Yes.
Go over points and procedures.
I mean, we
Something
could.
that's just on the screen now. We could get Benji Lacrosse in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was an awesome race.
Batesville. That's first. Batesville. That's the first time I was ever there.
Look at the
50,000 for an IMCA stock car feature. That was
who
amazing.
doesn't love fireworks? We all
I
love
like fireworks. I'm still
When I know they're
surprised.
coming, I like them. But when they're a surprise, I don't care for them.
We could do all kinds of fun things with these TVs.
We could.
Play all kinds of stuff, like the old Man Show. We could have IMCA's version of the Man Show.
And Adam Carolla and Jimmy Kimmel, or Jimmy, yeah, Jimmy
It's a
Kimmel.
great.
Yeah,
show.
Jimmy Kimmel.
It's a great show.
Now he has a late night show that
I don't
some
know if you get
people.
away with that these days.
I don't think that would be, yeah.
I still
gets
can't believe with that
angry.
guy's late night show that he has now that he did what he did when he was on the Man Show.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
People change.
I guess.
Well, yeah, because the
forget.
old
We're still holding out hope for
forget.
you, but
They don't
I mean,
change it, just
yeah, you know
forget.
what? It changed, Jimmy. We're gonna pay you this much to be this guy. Okay, I'll do it.
No more of those.
No more of women on trampolines or
Jumping
whatever it
on
was, jumping on
trampolines,
trampolines.
something like
but-
that.
So yeah, so it's. I just think we just make it the people's show. You give us things to talk about, we'll filter through it,
Heck yeah,
and we'll talk about it.
it'd be fun.
And if you have the right topic, maybe we'll just call you and say, "Hey, we're talking about your deal. What do you got for input on it?" "Oh, I got nothing." "Okay."
I think it would be fantastic to get my wife in here and have a Tex's interpretation of everything we say, because she has her own way of interpreting what we say and do and how we act and the things that the perspective she has on things.
I'd be for that. I want to just, because what I would do is I would just sit back
she
and
won't
watch.
She would not do it. She'd never get in front
I'm
of
trying to think of the stuff that we said today and how she would interpret it. I don't know if I'd want to. I don't know if I'd want to know.
I think it would be something like this.
If she's in
idiot
here,
1, idiot 2, and idiot 3, just not in that order.
If she's in here, she'll sit on one side of the table and I'll sit on the other. It's just safe that way for me.
And then we will dress in the Dirt Knights attire for when the daggers come flying.
Yeah.
All right. Are we done with this one? Or do you want to keep talking, Brett?
I don't care what we do.
I don't care what we do either.
I got a daughter with a fever. I got to go home.
That sounds
You got a 2-hour drive.
That's
home,
not
too.
exciting.
Yeah, I got to go. I got to see if somebody's got a trailer for me to take home.
No.
Oh,
I texted him. He
answers
didn't
that.
have it.
didn't have it.
He's not done with it.
Oh, I thought maybe.
So you mean he's got to come back next week?
I got to come back next
has
week
to
to
come
get a
back
van to go to because producer Nate hadn't got me ready. So
Producer Nate's the busiest man in the building. And
Saturday.
don't let anybody tell you.
It'll be back this weekend.
I'll find one in Des Moines. I just thought if I get you some free advertising. That's what I'm about. All right, let's wrap this thing up.
You're all
Just
about
white
free.
flag's gone. Checker's coming.
That's it.
That's it.
The
So we
pilot
hope
is done.
we hope
We
you
could do
enjoy.
that- We could do that with the podcast.
What?
As we get close to the end, we could do like a.
You could
we
have a
white
graphics.
flag
with the-
come up on, and then the checkered flag, and then we close it out. I don't know.
That'd
Yeah.
be kind of cool.
Just
Good
spitball
idea.
some
But
ideas.
that would be, we would have to
We should
commit
be
to
using the
stopping
graphics for
talking.
something. I mean, the racing in the background, we could always talk about racing, and you could put the races up there that we're going to talk about, but you could also use the middle one for, like the green, white checker.
Sponsors. We could have sponsors.
Sponsors.
On. Yes, we get
a lot of space in that studio for some sponsor banners.
There is some sponsor banners available, or spots to put sponsor banners, as long as they don't
logos.
As long as, well, we enjoy having sponsors.
Were you going to stop having sponsors? I was like, where's this going?
Well, I kind of like to get my paycheck, Brett. So
putting us on a live show with call-ins and sponsors involved could be.
We would need one of those call monitors.
We need one of those 4-second delays.
More like 35-second delay.
And one of those buttons you push to
Nate, can you get one of those?
to shut your mic off.
You work on it. I've never looked into that.
To have like a delay or like a what?
Well, both a delay and a sensor, a beep button. I don't know. It might be spendy. I have to look.
I like those. I like the idea. They do like 10 questions. Ask a racer 10 different questions.
Yeah.
Things like that. That
McDonald's or Burger King.
right.
Yeah, exactly.
Coke or Pepsi.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Dr. Pepper. I mean, absolutely.
Stock cars are modified. So
Those kinds of questions are.
speed round.
Yeah.
That's what they call
I
them.
think some of the non-racing questions that get you to know a racer on a level that,
I think what's cool, and I know we've talked about it before on the podcast, just the stuff that people don't know. We know who, you are and what you do. But let's talk about you away from here. Tell us what you do. What do you like? Where do you work? What do you eat for breakfast? What'd you have for lunch today? Just dumb, what's the most memorable moment you had as a kid? Things like that to get to know people, because we know how Benji Lacrosse races a car and where he's from and his car number. We just don't know that. We just kind of forget that Benji Lacrosse used to him and his dad had a band and they sang, and I actually saw it at the banquet, and then I saw them on a video here New Year's Eve singing.
Still?
Yeah, they were singing along.
So it's kind of like driving a race car. You just never forget how to.
You never forget how to play
I just remember
guitars.
Benji played the guitar, the drums. Didn't he play the drums?
I think so.
I think Benji was on.
But
the
I know he
drums
sings.
at our banquet.
He sings.
He sang that summer of '69.
That's the same one I heard him singing on the
That's
on
what
the
they
Facebook
sang at our
video.
banquet one year.
Yeah.
The Brian Adams song?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was fantastic. It was really good.
Oh no, he does a very nice job. Like I said, him and his dad had a band.
It's like when we go to the races. I mean, we all know that the guys who are there, they're racing, and we know their racing achievements, and we know their sponsors and their favorite colors and all the things. You see that usually with what they display, but you don't know necessarily what they do for an occupation. You don't know if they're married, how many kids they have. Did they go to college? What do they do outside of racing? All that kind of fun stuff. I always ask people, what do you do for a real job? When I meet people, especially for the first time in racing, it's one of the things I always ask.
What was that?
What do you do for a real job? Because it can't be racing, right?
Right.
You know.
Well, Bill Martin put a story out from our office. I think it was last week about. I think he's from Arizona. Some kid. He's in college, and he helped put a satellite.
Yeah.
I read that. I shared that on Facebook. He's from Utah. He's from Utah.
Utah, that's right. He's a brilliant kid. He's a race car driver. He's a student
and launched
who's
a satellite into space.
His
I mean, who doesn't do that every day?
I was thinking about it one time, but I just didn't have the smarts to do it.
Exactly. Closest I got is those rockets you buy at the toy store, you know, and they have like a CO2 cartridge in it, and it goes up.
Closest I ever got was
and you hope that you could get it when it come back down. It didn't go into a tree or on a power line, and you wouldn't get it back.
Neighbor's yard, their house.
I saw you light some fireworks off on a random county road in Wisconsin weeks ago, didn't I?
I will light random fireworks at any random time of the year.
I got all kinds out back.
I usually have.
I got all kinds of firework stories.
That's what we could have. Our
got
next
my fingers though.
But yeah, I got 4 fingers and 2 thumbs. I'm all good. But I could light fireworks every night of the week.
I think Nate's ready to go to sleep out there. You're good.
He's just listening.
No,
listening.
Well, you said like 20 minutes ago. Do you want to wrap it up? So
Emmy's calling, and she's found us in El Camino. Oh, dude, I did see an El Camino.
She has another kid.
Yes, yeah. She's having octuplets.
This podcast has lasted so long. Nate now has 4 children.
Oh. No. So anyway, when we went to Batesville to the stock car deal, I mean, I think every town we went to from Missouri south, we ran into an El Camino. So that's kind of been producer Nate and I's joke is we go somewhere and see an El Camino. And Nate, I can't remember where it was that I went just the other day, but there was an El Camino. It's in Boone. I can take you right to it, Nate. We'll show you next time we're in Boone. An El Camino with a stand-up Kawasaki jet ski trailer and the jet ski behind it. I was like, we've hit the trifecta.
Have you ever tried to ride a stand-up jet ski?
Once, and I never did it again.
Can I throw something way off topic?
Really? You want to throw?
Well,
really?
We're not on topic, but outside of IMCA. Well, Jerry, you were there.
What?
Jet ski racing.
Oh.
Flat Out Friday.
Oh yeah. So some dude made a one of the events we did on the Speed Sport platform. Dude took a jet ski and molded it or made it to fit on a motorcycle. It was a jet ski with a motorcycle deal, and he raced it. It's crazy.
I want an El Camino with one of those in the back of it.
You want an El Camino with the motorcycle? You want that
motorcycle jet ski?
So you want the dude with the motor? I got his number. We can get a hold of him. I think we can maybe make this.
Where
happen.
was this?
Can I Google this and get some background info on it?
What's that?
Yeah, it was in Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's in Milwaukee.
Oh, Milwaukee.
So I can just Google motorcycle jet ski.
Well, Flat Out Friday.
Flat Out Friday.
Nate,
not to promote other events on our podcast, but it was pretty It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and the dude and one guy had an outhouse.
Yeah, you put an outhouse.
Put an outhouse on a motorcycle.
Good Lord. Have you ever rode one of those stand-up jet skis, Ryan?
Yeah, no. I tried once and I miserably failed.
It is one of the single hardest things I think a person can try to do. It is hard to ride one of those things.
But guys that can ride them are awesome.
You see people ride them and they're like, "Wow, I want to do that." And then you try it, it's like, "No way,
no, I'm done.
I'm not gonna.
I'm gonna just get on the boat
any further."
Is that it, guys?
Well, we said that 10 minutes ago. We went into racing outhouses, jet skis, and I don't know.
Just a quick little plug for IMCA TV. Got a full schedule.
Well, that's you.
A lot of broadcasts.
How many broadcasts?
Can we put that up here on the screen for us, please?
Yeah, we could put upcoming IMCA TV events.
Right now, but the next time I could. I didn't build the graphic, but right now for our house broadcasts, our schedule is pushing 80 for house broadcasts. Then we have all of our affiliates that broadcast events. Weekly.
Yep. Like here in town.
Yep, here in town, Boone. The Advantage TV guys, they're at
down at Davenport, Done Right guys.
That's Done Right guys, but
I got to meet the low budget guys, like our California guys.
Yep, low budget TV out in California. We got
they're everywhere.
guys in Arizona now doing weekly stuff. So there's so much racing on our platform.
When you say you have 80 events coming up, what is that over the course of a certain length of time?
That is that included the Winter Nats. So, and that's events, that's not dates.
Okay.
That's total events. So if we spread it out to dates,
it's a full schedule.
I don't even know what it would be date wise, but yeah, I mean that's January 1 right now through November, and we're still adding them. I just had a couple emails earlier this week wanting to get added on there. So, and I just talked to Bill about upcoming stuff in Florida that they, I guess, maybe requested us to be there. So at what racetrack is that in Milton? Is that
Southern
Raceway?
Yep.
They have modifieds there, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, we're adding to it constantly, and
I think that contract just came in today, didn't it?
Yesterday, today. Yeah.
I might have signed it this morning. Yeah.
So, always adding to the list there, but we're getting the events listed for the year, and check that out. Especially the Icebreaker and Lone Star Tour coming up next week.
And for $24.95 a month, you can buy
the
the
replay subscription. Yeah, absolutely.
30 days. All the stuff you can watch.
25% of that goes to the Drivers' Points Fund, correct?
Yep, it does.
So
buy the replay pass.
And you can turn the volume down for races that you announce, so they don't even have to listen to you.
That's what I usually do. No offense, Jerry.
Oh, none taken.
Hey, now you are Brett's 5th favorite announcer in the state of Iowa.
Oh,
5th, right?
No.
Yeah, probably.
It goes from 5th to 2nd to 3rd to 10th. I know where I stand.
Depends on what crop of new announcers pop up every year, as to where Jerry ends up landing.
Yep.
I mean, where am I? I don't want to know. I really don't.
Fraternal order of announcers.
Yes, there's like the benevolent fraternal order. It's
like Shriners.
Oh, we could.
No.
We could have a parade with the go-karts and stuff.
No.
Oh, that's like golf carts.
I got one of those little carts out here.
You got a Shriner cart?
Well, it's not exactly.
We were this close, Nate. This close.
I was just gonna say, I think I need to start rolling some music here and slowly fade it in.
All right. Well, we'll be back.
We should have intros. Exits.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We should have like a smoke machine. It should.
I got those.
I got
smoke machine.
I got smoke machine.
Do you have a disco ball? Can we put a disco ball in there?
Absolutely. Those are easy to buy. You can get them on Amazon.
Yeah.
The last time I used a smoke machine in the office, it was not a good thing.
Well, I can't imagine if you use a smoke machine in a small enclosed.
When I first bought them, I have 2 smoke machines that we were going to use at the Super Nationals, and I tested one. I made the mistake of I was inside. I turned this on. How's this work? And just it heats up. It heats a liquid up, and you push a button, and it and just that one little looked like the building was on fire.
How recent was that?
It was probably 2 years ago now.
If you just go back and look at the Vinton Fire Department call log, you'll see where they got.
We have them here way too many times to be able to.
It was only the field that I caught on fire once.
Were you mowing?
No, he was burning the field.
I was burning.
You understand the object is to contain it. That's why it's a control.
And apparently they have rules and regulations where you're not supposed to burn at certain times. And certain things.
Yeah.
I pretty much hit all the marks on what I wasn't supposed to do.
What did the fire chief say when he brought you the summons of pay this, dummy?
It just wasn't a really good conversation.
And the fire chief here is a very nice man. So
I mean, first of all, I had to talk to Brett.
Know it's a small town. We all know the fire guy, all the firemen, and the fire chief, and they're all good guys.
So, I mean, how did he address you? Did he say, excuse me, sir? Did he go, are you that big of an idiot?
It was not a good day. Put it that way.
It's not the first time Brett has killed vegetation.
I'm like, hey, I got a little small fire out here behind the building. Well, how big a fire is it? I'm like, well, it's getting bigger.
You might want to send 3 trucks from 2 different towns.
But if you could you just come out here and take a look at it first? That's what I said.
So you told him to come take a look at it. Don't bring 7 trucks.
Don't turn the lights on.
He lives in town. He's just right down here. I'm like, just come over here and take a look at this.
He opened his front door and understand it was a 4-alarmer.
I got off the phone, and before I walked out the front door of the office, I could hear the sirens. And I'm like, oh, dear Jesus, please don't be them coming here. And it was. And then by the time they got here, I was thankful that it was them that coming here.
Did he just go absolutely Mr. Obvious on us? He calls the fire chief and says, I got a small fire. I step outside and hear sirens. Do you not realize that any time that any fireman gets a chance to run lights and sirens, they're going to do it?
They had plenty of reason to do it.
Then they sank.
It was a big one.
They sank both their trucks out in the backfield because it was wet out there because there's a little creek that runs through there. It was just bad.
But I tell you,
and you work for this guy?
As nervous as he was,
Yeah.
outside.
Was he like somebody?
We were all laughing.
Yeah, I thought I was. There's a big pile of tires over at the county shed right back here behind on the adjacent property.
New or used?
Used.
Oh, then that's okay.
There is a mountain of tires back there.
It's just a huge DOT fine.
It was like that fire sensed that there was a pile of tires there, and it was going to go right for those tires, and it literally blew right straight through those tires.
Fires sense tires like tornadoes sense trailer parks. I mean, it's given. It's hand in hand.
That was a funny day. That was
Ask him about sometime about his weed killer.
Hey, tell me about your weed killer, Brett, while we still got time on this podcast. I mean, this is the time. This is the thing that people want to know.
I calculated the gallons wrong.
So did it say 1 gallon of water to 1 ounce of this, or did it?
I don't remember.
So you just went.
Whatever I did was effective.
And the best part about that, and I don't know if you know this.
I nailed it.
The best part, the whole yard out here was you had stripes and burn marks throughout the entire thing.
It killed the grass to the dirt.
So you're telling me that you mixed the weed killer like I mix a crown,
and it killed the grass to the dirt. And here's the funny thing is, so I have it on the back of a 4-wheeler. It's spread out, and I did right back out here.
The grass or the sprayer? Oh, so you had like it had.
Oh yeah. It was like a 10 or 12 foot path.
Ooh, so this is
so
like farm
I was
stuff.
just trying to get the dandelions, so I thought I'm gonna start back here where there's all these dandelions. So I just did this little patch here, and I kind of went up over here, and I'm like, okay, and I went right down the front of the grass out front here, and by the time I got back over here, I think the grass was brown already in the back. I'm like, ooh, I think I'm not going to do this. So I stopped doing it. And then there was no reversing what I had done.
Well, no, when you kill something, you can't. I mean,
you can almost probably see it on Google.
You could, because you know how Google Maps, they come through every few years and do the photos. That's when they took pictures of this place. They were up on the Google Maps.
It looked like somebody
for
tried to farm our front yard.
It
was bad.
Yeah, the aerial shot was even worse than the drive-by view.
I fixed it, though. It's better.
I mean, it probably took a couple years for the ground to come back from the dead too.
So if the whole IMCA thing doesn't work out, he's going to open up Brett's Lawn and Landscaping.
Correct. Yes. A storage facility. You store 'em, I steal 'em. That's the name of my storage facility.
Oh. You store 'em, I steal 'em.
Yep. Don't pay your bill. I'm taking it.
Oh, I went out there with you that day.
What happened?
Oh my!
If you don't pay your bill, I'm taking it.
So I mean, time out. Do you really have storage units?
Well,
kind of, sort of, maybe, and somebody didn't pay you, and they had something
storage building.
Okay.
And I went out there with you that day to collect. I was
with the police.
Yeah.
2 sheriffs.
Did you send Guido?
I went.
Because Guido was the money collector.
I stayed had 2 sheriffs with me.
Yeah, were you scared of what was going to happen on this deal?
Ryan was there. Maybe he can tell the story.
I don't remember. I forgot all about it until you just brought it up. But it was not
with
me.
He was my bodyguard.
Yes, because when I think of I'm going to go to somebody's house and probably either get physically beaten to death, I'm taking Ryan Clark with me. He'll have my back.
Because I can humiliate and shame you to death and make you feel small about yourself and turn tail and walk the other direction, Jerry.
Oh, yes, I've experienced that for 10 plus years.
The house, the whole situation was really not pleasant. And it was after.
Did you get a deliverance feeling?
It was not long after I started here full time. And I can't tell you what was going on in my head.
Ryan, you want to go for a ride? Let's go. Get in the car.
Ryan's like, yep, I'll go.
Get in the car.
That falls under duties as a son.
It's one of those stories that Ryan will probably keep for the rest of his life.
Ryan, I'm volunteering you something. Let's go.
I can't even remember all the details of it, but
Did you get to keep the stuff?
No, I gave it back.
Because you were nice, or because you were afraid that the dude would burn your house down?
Pardon me?
Did you give it back because you were nice, or you were afraid this person would burn your house down?
No, I was going to burn his house down.
Oh. But do you think he would have been able to burn yours down?
He's probably not smart enough to light a match.
But yet you were smart enough to let him store stuff without payment.
That's where I went wrong. No, it wasn't the without payment part. It was the take his stuff and move it out of my building where I messed up. I figured out where I made my mistakes. my mistakes along this chain of events.
Because he hadn't paid you, so you were going to move it out. And that.
Yeah, I was tired.
But
of
there's
it.
it's like evicting someone. You have to give notification.
Exactly.
It's like Super Dave gives a
now you're
fix
starting
it
to sound
ticket.
like the sheriff.
Shoot low, they're riding Shetlands.
You're reliving my memory. Brett, you can't do that. Well, I did.
Well, Brett, you better not do it again. I won't.
I won't do it again.
I won't let that guy store his stuff in my building again.
And I won't burn down the field again.
And I won't
kill the grass.
Kill the grass again.
I mean, man.
There's a theme here.
Why you guys be so
I know our next. We're calling his mom next time, and we're getting Brett Root kid stories.
No,
oh my goodness!
Nobody.
Hey, wait, excuse me. I have your mother's number on. Nate, we're calling Kathy next one. What do you mean?
Actually, Brett was 2 years ahead of me in high school, and I don't really remember a whole lot about him.
Either
because he probably couldn't see me. I was like this.
He was tiny. He was like
a short little fella.
Like
Napoleon.
He was a little dude.
Napoleon.
Hey there, you! Throw me on my horse. I must ride away.
All right, I think I'm done.
Okay, we're done. So, on behalf of all of us here, and we've.
I don't think we've left any topics to talk about.
You know what we should get? We need to get a kegerator in here or something fun.
Ooh, I might have a.
Have a Scotch and whiskey night.
No. If we're doing that, we're doing it during the day.
Yes, we're drinking. Yes,
drinking.
Tuesday afternoon.
On the clock drinking.
On the clock drinking.
There's got to be a name for this show,
Oh yeah, we have to come up with a name too.
It was the IMCA TV Dirtcast.
No, when we're drinking.
It's
got to be a segment.
I know. I may happen to have
a 20-minute segment.
We'll have to have Wade call in during.
I still may have a reserve amount of Super Nationals moonshine bottles that we could.
So
share.
you stole a bunch.
No, I didn't steal. I was giving them as a present. This was nothing to do with you. You will get to have one here.
I have one.
I know, but we will drink one.
Thank you very much. I can put it over here on the wall.
We could do that too. Yeah, I think
we could. Stuff going on the walls.
Yeah.
Put some Super National stuff up. Got the first ever Super Nationals flag.
Autographed by the driver.
Autographed by everybody that participated.
Some BFF photography up there too.
Yeah,
yeah.
Get some.
Be good.
On that note, Ryan has dropped the pen. That means the show is over.
Without my pen, I'm nothing.
I think it was a good one, guys. I'm looking forward to doing more of these.
It'll be fun.
It'll be great. I'm excited.
As long as we don't have to follow some damn stuffy.
And we can talk about 1965.
I just want notes. That's all I want is
notes. Notes are good
follow.
and something to keep us on track. Where Nate's give us some number. Even if we had a clock back here, perhaps
that might be good.
Here's we start, and we got because we got to keep it within a time frame.
Oh, I know what I'm going to ask you about.
Even if you give us a signal or something, or
okay. So
like
something that tells us.
Junior podcast that's like 4 hours long.
Yeah, fuck
for an
that.
episode.
Excuse me.
I want to know because
way too long because nobody's going to watch 4 hours of Jerry, and I wouldn't watch 4 hours of Dale Earnhardt Jr.
So I want to know. I want to know where
the
the IMCA on the rocks glasses that used to be.
They're out back somewhere. We also got a silver,
You still have those?
Like a silver,
I've got a silver plate.
There's a silver plates out there too.
See, if we're going to do a drinking segment, a methanol moonshine, we need to have. You need to find from the 90s
on the rocks glasses.
And they were.
I wonder whose idea that was.
30 years ago.
In 1992.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what that said?
Yeah, it was 92. Let me
Somebody had an... I'm going to ask my mother this. These are...
these were the souvenirs of the... Let me find it.
On the Rocks glasses. Mom, who came up with the IMCA On the Rocks glasses? Because it is fantastic.
And we should bring it back.
It stands the test of time to 2022.
Because
when you go down to Florida,
cheers.
You check with your dad and see if he's drinking out of one
my
of those.
Dad,
it may very well
might have been
idea.
involved in that.
I have an idea that's where now when you're looking for something, you can't find it. But I found it in a 1991 April edition of the Inside IMCA that Scott Ratajczak got over Christmas. I tagged you in it. I thought you might.
What was it?
It was so when I was up for New Year's to the Luxembourg area with the Ratajczaks, I come across a 1991 April IMCA Insider. And that's when I took pictures of it. And the On the Rocks glasses were advertised in there. And there was like some others. Oh, that would have been remember the old lapel pins? You've got them in your office.
I think that might be the On the Rocks glasses that I have the push pins in my office.
A lot of that stuff's still out back here.
There's quite a few of those classes.
I am going in my free
going
time.
shopping?
I'm going to go looking.
Burned in the fire.
Well, I sure hope you didn't store them outside
or killed with the melted.
So we should wash them
with
first.
my weed killer attempt.
I would have to say that those things that your push pins are in, now that I remember seeing
those
they
are
the on the rocks glasses. I know they are.
I know exactly where you can find those.
All right.
I'll get a set before I go home.
Nope.
All right, we're gonna wrap this thing up. We'll be back again, and like we said, after you watch this and you've gotten yourself back into saneness, go online and just tell us what you want to see. Tag us.
Race IMCA at IMCA.com.
Yeah, just
email.
Email. He'll get them.
Facebook message.
Facebook message. Any three of us.
Yeah.
Nate.
All that stuff.
If you got any pictures of El Caminos, send them over.
Segment
Send those to
ideas.
Jerry. I mean, I like El Caminos, but I don't want to get thousands of pictures of El Caminos.
There used to be an El Camino out back. True story.
I do remember that too. God, I'm old.
Nate, you got here too late. There was an El Camino.
You know what? El Camino is technically licensed as a truck.
Yes, it was, because it was
just one of those fun facts. Correct, because when people want to race El Caminos, that's what I usually fall back on. Look at the registration. It is licensed not as a passenger.
It is a truck
vehicle. It is as a truck.
Did you race the El Camino in your day?
No. I raced the El Camino.
Where is it?
My brother-in-law has it.
What year was it?
It's my brother-in-law's father's.
It's like a 70s or 80s.
Oh.
I don't know what year it was.
Long nose or short nose?
It was a really nice brown El Camino, all original.
Probably
I think it
70s.
had 70,000 miles on it.
Probably
Maybe
70s. And those were the cool ones. The stubby Malibu ones were not good.
It was Moose Madorans.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So Mitch has it.
Yep.
Okay.
And when Moose passed away, we stored it out here for a few years, and then Mitch flew here from Colorado and picked it up.
Sweet deal.
Yep.
So if you have pictures of El Caminos,
don't send them to Nate.
Don't send them to Nate.
Send them to Mitch.
Yeah, send them to Mitch. We'll get you Mitch's information here eventually.
Mitch probably likes seeing it too.
I know, it would be great. So, like I said, just put in, email us. Most of you that are watching this know how to get a hold of us via social media or tag us in a post or whatever. Maybe
don't tag us in posts. They can tag you in posts.
Those.
Yeah.
They can tag you and post you.
You know what we'll do?
Just email.
We'll start a Facebook page for this, and Nate can manage it, and he
Along
can.
with the other 500 pages that I manage.
Did I hear someone complaining?
I'm not complaining.
All the cool kids have 12,000 Facebook pages.
You can have
so 12,000. We can just
12,000.
direct this stuff to IMCA and IMCA TV.
There we go. So from Brett to Ryan, producer Nate behind the glass, it's been our pleasure having you tuned in. Watch for Facebook. We'll show you when we're coming back next. Bye, Ryan.
See you, Jerry.
Bye, Brett.
Bye, sweetheart.
I knew you loved me.
Oh.
Thanks, guys.